Nothing short of a miracle. Missing Newfoundland fishing crew arrives home safely. This is part of an article published by CBC. The crew of the Elite Navigator, the fishing vessel missing since Wednesday, arrived home safely on Saturday. The 7 crew members were greeted by hundreds of people celebrating their return to their home port of Valleyfield. Some residents were waiting on the docks and its surrounding areas with signs and balloons. Others took to the water and greeted the crews in their own boats as they passed by the Canadian Coast Guard inshore rescue boat. The crew members' safe arrival was emotional as family and friends tightly hugged the loved ones they thought they had lost. Captain of the Elite Navigator, Eugene Carter, said the crew is happy to be home after spending almost 3 days in a life raft following a fire on the boat that quickly escalated. Within 5 minutes, we had 7 men aboard a life raft and there was fire everywhere. In the days that followed, Carter said the crew had to keep each other warm, there was limited water supply, and the raft kept drifting further and further from land. Nonetheless, they stayed in good spirits. We were actually sitting around joking with each other, using a flashlight as a microphone, interviewing each other, just to keep our hopes up. The most challenging part of the situation wasn't being stuck on a life raft in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. It was thinking about what their families were going through. The hardest thing about it was knowing we were alive and everyone here thinking the opposite. That was the hardest thing to cope with. The entire crew was found in a life raft by search and rescue teams on Friday night. It was an handheld red flare that was spotted, which led us to the life raft, the Coast Guard said in an update on Facebook on Saturday. The flare that saved their lives was the last one the men had. When it caught the attention of the helicopter, it was the best feeling in the world. Search efforts expanded on Friday. 4 Coast Guard vessels as well as a Cormorant helicopter and Hercules aircraft. PAL Airlines also used sensors to fly over and try and locate the boat, and a number of fishing vessels also took part in the search. The entire incident highlights how dangerous the profession of fishing can be. It hits home because small town Newfoundland, you know everybody. You know who they are, who their parents are, their relatives, you know the boat owners, you basically know everything about them. You grew up with them and you know it's like losing part of the family. It's nothing short of a miracle. They're all on their way home. That was from the mayor. This is a miracle. In a life raft for more than 2 days, drifting out to sea. No one knew what happened, just the boat disappeared. That's a long time to be searching, that's for sure. That's a long time to be lost in the middle of the ocean. These guys will have stories and nightmares for the rest of their life, that's for sure. But it's an awesome outcome, about as good as can be expected. It must have been some fire. They didn't even get out a mayday call. Still don't know anything about an EPIRB. It was never ever mentioned in anything that I read on this, why this boat didn't have an EPIRB or why there was no EPIRB signal. I have no idea. It's a question that I would ask if I could. But none of that really matters right now. The 7 men are home, their families are happy, and that's all that matters.